Giving you all the crap details of living in Vietnam.
I have to cook, I have to clean up.
Yeah.
I can't cook. They're always cheering, one, hi, back, yo.
Yeah.
That's a good way to gauge how expensive or cheap it is to live in a place. Like, how much does a pint cost?
Yeah, that's the best way. Mo, hi, bye, yo.
Okay, condensed milk, which is like, what could you compare it to? It's like, I knew before asking that cup.
Like syrup.
It's like maple syrup.
Yeah, it's like syrup.
You know, you can see it comes out. It looks like it's just solid. It like takes a while.
Yeah.
And it sounds. It's just like really. I fucking hate Americans. I don't know why I'm friends with them. No, I'm joking.
What's up, guys? So we're gonna do a different video today than I've ever done. It's gonna be an interview with an expat here who lives in Vietnam, and he's been living here for quite a while. We've been friends for quite a while, so I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
My name is Joe. I'm 28 years old. I moved here in 2017, which is when me and Tyler met. I was here for 2 years, then moved to China, Shanghai, and then had to move back home to the UK for about 14 months because of COVID. And then I got back out here in April of this year. What we're in now? We're just moving into August now. We're in July right now. Yeah.
Whereabouts in the UK are you from?
I'm from Manchester.
Okay, so where are you living now exactly in Vietnam?
So I'm living in Ho Chi Minh City, District 2. Tao Dien is it's a place where a lot of expats move to live and work here. I'm about 20-minute drive from where Tyler is in District 1, which is central to Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah. We
both used to live in the same apartment in Bin Tan.
Yeah.
Which is basically in the middle of where I live now and where Tyler lives now. But Tao Dien's like a big expat spot. A lot of expats, I'd say most expats live here.
Yeah, I would agree with that, yeah.
So it's a different vibe. You do see a lot more foreigners here, whereas in the past when we lived in Bin Tan, and especially where Tyler is now in District 1, you're going to see a lot more Vietnamese people and experience more of the culture when you live in there.
Yeah, so not Vietnam, Saigon is split up into different districts. I think there's like maybe 20 of them or something. There's at least 12 numbered districts, so 1 through 12. And then there are other districts like Bin Tan, like you said, and Ton Bun and Phu Nhuận.
Bin Tan, yeah. The second
Bin Tan.
Yeah,
Bin Tan.
It's a confusing one.
And then, so you basically choose one of those districts to live in when you move out here to Saigon. And yeah, so how long have you lived here in Vietnam?
So I did 2 years when I first moved out in 2017, and then, like I said earlier, I moved to China. I actually came back for a holiday for 1 week just before COVID, like January 2020, but I ended up staying for another 8 months.
How was that holiday?
It was nice. It was a nice holiday.
Where'd you go?
I just stayed in Bin Tan. Well, I suppose, we went to the Philippines.
Yeah.
We went to the Philippines. So it was a holiday that was totally unexpected. I was still getting paid for my job in China, which was nice. So
how was the Philippines?
The Philippines was nice.
What was your favorite part about the Philippines?
Spending time with you, obviously.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, my brother came out as well. So
yeah.
I was flying from. So we met in the Philippines. So that was the start of my trip.
Yeah.
I said a week in Vietnam, but the first week was the Philippines. So Tyler was coming from Ho Chi Minh City to the Philippines. I was coming from Shanghai. And my younger brother came out from Manchester, so we all met in Manila.
That's right.
Yeah,
we had a great time in the Philippines.
Yeah, and then so that was I think we did 10 days.
Yeah, something like that.
So we said our goodbyes, and then because I was flying back to Vietnam, but I was flying to the north. Tyler was in the south where we are now.
Yeah.
So I did a week, or it was supposed to be a week in Hanoi. My flights got cancelled because COVID happened. So I came back down to the south where I know people, because I'd stayed here for 2 years. So I wasn't exactly stranded. I was moving back to a place that I'd lived before. I knew the place, knew the people, I had a lot of friends there. So it was just weird doing 8 months with like 7 kilograms of luggage.
Yeah.
Just randomly, but I'm not complaining. It was a good time.
Yeah.
So he was asking me how long I've stayed here. So 2 years plus 8 months plus, I guess I've been back here now since April, May, June, July. So another 4 months. So we're getting on for like over 3 years.
Yeah, on and off 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how would you compare Vietnam to China?
Yeah. So naively, I thought that China, like when people say, "No, are you worried about going to China?" I was like, "No, I've done it before. I lived in Vietnam. It was fine. I'm built for this." But I was very surprised that there wasn't many English speakers in Shanghai. I just thought Shanghai is a more well-known city, China's a more well-known country, and people there would speak more English. So it was definitely more of a struggle and took a long time to get settled, whereas when I moved to Vietnam it didn't take long at all. Just maybe not so much taxi drivers, but just going into like family marts, like convenience stores and stuff like that. It's just the English that the staff know there is enough for you to get by and not have to worry about learning the language or even just being anxious to go in places because you're not going to be able to ask the questions that you need to ask and get what you need to get.
You mean the English in Vietnam versus China? Yeah. So like on the whole, would you say that Vietnamese people are like just more welcoming and?
I guess so, but China's a big place. I can only speak for the time that I spent in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Shanghai's a big city. I think 25 million people living in Shanghai compared to I think it's about 9 million here.
Yeah, I think
And don't get me wrong, this is like a stupidly busy city, but Shanghai's more metropolitan. It's train stations and people just suited up on the way to work, and there's no time for anyone to smile or say hello or even just be polite and the whole door's open for you, or even just say thank you for holding the door open for you. But
right.
I don't want to get started on politeness.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess in a lot of ways that kind of like reflects kind of a Western, at least like pace of life, where people are really concerned about productivity and getting things done and being focused on work only, and I guess even the development of the country as a whole is, especially in Shanghai, maybe more similar to what we would see in like New York City or something like that, right?
Which I find when I do travel to those places that are more developed, I just feel like everything's more predictable. So every day is more of the same, and even though some things are nicer in that maybe the streets are cleaner and transport's on time and there's no like unexpected problems.
Monsoons.
Yeah, like just the crazy things that happen here, and how I suppose there's method in the madness here, but also in the madness you do find yourself having like pleasurable rides to work, even if it is raining, just because you see crazy stuff going on. And you don't tend to see that in these places that are more developed. Every day seems to be more the same and more predictable.
Right.
I find life can get very like stagnant and boring when you travel and live in those places.
Yeah, I agree. It becomes kind of mundane, way too predictable, and you just kind of lose that sense of adventure about each day, right? And it's kind of, I agree with you. Like when you're driving around and it's like a total rainstorm and you're all in it together,
I'm making
right?
that face that you're making now when I'm driving, and some guys just sped past me through a puddle. They probably should have gone around it or slowed down.
Yeah.
You didn't give a fuck about me.
Yeah.
I've got pants on, I'm soaking wet.
And
all you can do is laugh, or trying to get home. And you got your socks, and you got puddles in your shoes and stuff, and you just kind of go, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's better than living every day the same. It's kind of one of those things that you just accept when you live here,
Yeah.
or enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta try to enjoy it, because otherwise you're just gonna get pissed off about it and be like, oh, I want to go home to
but
England.
It's more than putting up with stuff like the rain. Like when it's rained here, I'm glad that it does rain here, because it does change days. Like no days are the same. It's kind of, it might piss you off in the moment when you're getting wet, but you know, it adds a bit of excitement to your life and a bit of adrenaline when you're trying to get home, and you know the rain's getting heavier, you forgot your rain mark and you just want to get home. Then when you do get home, you take your clothes off, everything's drying, and you're like, ah.
Yeah, take that nice hot
kind of
shower.
Like, that was like an activity rather than a commute home from work.
Yeah. There have been some crazy floods that I've been through here where it's like the water's it's like hip level. You're pushing your motorbike through it
because it's flooded.
Yeah. The key there is like keeping the throttle going. Otherwise, your engine's getting flooded, and yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
we're not selling it.
Yeah, right now we're giving you all the crap details of living in Vietnam.
We should have done this at the end.
All right, we'll come back to this. So, so why did you decide to move here?
I think it probably came from, from the UK. We used to just going on holidays for 1 week or maybe 2 weeks at a push, and those 2-week holidays would be spent in a hotel on a resort where you'd probably leave the resort maybe once or twice to go and see the real Spain or the real France. But for the most part, you're just staying in your all-inclusive hotel. You get your wristbands, you can get free drinks, you've got a buffet of food, which is all the food that you're familiar with in the UK, which is shit, obviously. But then my first trip to Asia was a month in Thailand, and after doing 1 month anywhere and not having to, you know, when you get on holiday and you get there and it's like a 1 week holiday, you wake up the next morning, oh, we've got to do this, you've got everything planned.
Itinerary.
It was nice to just land in Bangkok and just go out, get fucked, go to sleep, not care about, oh shit, we've only got so many days. There's no calendar on my wrist. Yeah. Maybe on these new smartwatches you've got a calendar. Right. We've only got like 30 days left.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to just know that I've got so much time that I have to worry about getting things done.
Yeah.
And honestly, in those trips, like even though I've been here for like just over 3 years, I haven't done what a tourist would do in a week, just because I know that I'm here for longer.
Yeah.
So I haven't really got around to like museums. I haven't done the Mekong Delta tour. But yeah, I did a month in Thailand, and I was like, right, a week holiday isn't going to cut it for me anymore.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, how can I do a month consistently, or how can I do 6 months? How can I do 12 months? And the answer was obviously I need to move to one of these countries, but I need to work there in order to sustain my living there. So I had a friend who was working in China teaching English, but I went online and I was looking at where's best in Asia to teach English, because I knew that Asia was different. It was a total culture shock to what I was used to. And at top of all these blog posts, number one was when it takes into account cost of living and quality of life and everything. Vietnam was number one on like 3 or 4. I didn't need to look any further. It just kept coming up. So I was like, decided in that moment, I'm gonna move to Vietnam. I'm gonna teach English there. I'll figure out what I need to do before. I remember calling my friend Chris. You know Chris.
Yeah.
I called him the next morning. I was like, Chris, I'm gonna move to Vietnam and teach English. Do you want to come? He was like, this is what he said. He went, Joe, it's me. Yeah. Obviously I come. So it was less daunting knowing that someone was going to come with me, but I was definitely prepared to go by myself.
Yeah.
So me and Chris, then we looked at what steps we need to take in order to get a job here to teach English, and we just booked flights, and yeah, we kind of figured it out. We got an Airbnb before we arrived, and then we just figured out everything else after we arrived here.
That's cool. So you're teaching English here now.
Yeah.
So how do you like that?
So my first experience when I was here for 2 years, I was teaching in a language centre, which was evenings and weekends, which was good for a while, and then it just kind of got a bit bored. I got quite bored of it. It became a bit mundane. And that's why I moved to Shanghai, because I was teaching PE in Shanghai. I thought I needed a change from all of this. But since living in China and realising how good Ho Chi Minh City was, and compared to everywhere else where I've lived and travelled to, I was like, I need to make it work, because this is the place where I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
So then obviously the other option, apart from language centres, which is evening and weekends, you can do more like 9 to 5 job where you're working in a school and you've got more of a school environment, rather than turning up and teaching your hours, like 2-hour classes, and then leaving and then maybe going to a different centre. You're working within school 9 to 5, you get your weekends off, more of a nice school environment, and you know your colleagues and stuff, and it's more of a lifestyle rather than a job.
Yeah, that's at the international schools, thing, yeah. And you can also have that if you do decide to come out here to Vietnam. You can do public school teaching, which would give you the same type of hours, which would be Monday through Friday, normal school day hours. But one of the inconvenient things about that is that you have this weird like 3-hour break, where you're not getting paid for that. Whereas at an international school, you're on salary. Public school, you'd be on hourly, and you'd be working like 8 to 11, and then you'd have a 3-hour break, come back to 2 to 5. So you'd have a 9-hour day that you were getting paid 6 hours for.
It's nice if you can find a place to work which is close to where you live in.
Yeah.
But that'd just be luck, really. You need to find a place to live before you find a place to work. So if you do find a place to live that isn't out in the sticks, and then you find a place like a language centre where you do have a 3-hour break and you're only 15-minute drive away from home, you can use that time to like take a nap or go to the gym, and you can make it worthwhile. But if you, when I was here originally, I'd stay at the school and just like maybe go for something to eat, or it's very normal for teachers here to take naps on kids, so like you could just like take a nap in one of the rooms and stuff. But
take naps on what?
When the teachers would take naps in the language centres.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it just depends what you prefer. So you do get paid more per hour if you are teaching at a language centre doing the evenings and weekends. But like you said, if you do have a 9-hour day with a 3-hour break, you're not getting paid for the 3 hours. Yeah. Whereas you're getting paid slightly less per hour if you're at an international school or a public school, but you are getting paid for the whole time that you're at the school from like 9 till 5.
It's a set, stable schedule. Yeah. How much do you get paid here in Vietnam?
So I'm at an international school right now, and after tax I come out with 50 million VND, which is...
So that's about... So 23 million VND would be about $1,000. 46 would be $2,000, plus another 4 million would be like another $170. So you're making like about almost $2,200 a month. Yeah. So are you able to support yourself here on a salary like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I do go out and stuff. I'm not crazy going out. I don't spend a lot of money. I'm not very materialistic, so I don't buy many things for myself. But when it comes to food, I don't care about... I don't cook, so I'm ordering food all the time. So I can afford to just order all my food, which is massive. It's great. Yeah. You don't have to cook at all. I don't really think about money, let's say. I don't have to budget. Yeah. Without bringing down like how much I spend and how much I've got left over. I don't need to budget on the money that I've got and the amount I need to spend here.
Yeah. And you're almost always going to have some money left over, to save. And in terms of, like you said, you order food a lot and stuff. How are the food prices for like ordering food, and I guess I would say ordering both Western food or Vietnamese food?
Yeah, well, Vietnamese food's obviously cheaper. My issue with Vietnamese food is I'm trying to get a lot of calories per meal and a lot of protein per meal, so I do end up going for a lot of Western options. And it is going to cost a bit more. It's a little bit cheaper than the UK, but not that much cheaper, so I'm probably not I'm probably spending about the same I would do on food as I would do in the UK.
Really?
So I'd say it's slightly cheaper, but when it comes to like delivery fees and stuff, like delivery's so normal here and it's much cheaper. Whereas, yeah, it'd be a lot more expensive to get delivery on your food when you're ordering it in the UK.
So when you're ordering like a Western meal here in Vietnam, it's about the same price as it is in the UK?
The cost of the meals, a little bit cheaper. It's definitely cheaper, but the delivery fee that comes with it is
way cheaper.
It's probably what you'd tip
Yeah.
a driver in the UK.
Right.
Whereas we don't really do food delivery. What I do in the UK, I don't really order food that much.
Yeah.
Just probably because of the options. There's not many options. If you want to order from somewhere that's quite far, it might be like free. Maybe sometimes the delivery fee can be like $4 or $5.
Yeah.
Which is what you're paying for the meal. So
Yeah.
the delivery fee here really doesn't come into the cost. So you find yourself not having to drive out and pick food up or go to restaurants. You can, well, like, at least I can afford, with my lifestyle and my salary, I can afford to order food and it just comes to my door, which is very convenient.
Do you ever go out and try the street food in Vietnam?
Yeah, I've tried the street food. It's something that you do when you first get here. You dislike others. I like pho. It's not street food, but it's Vietnamese. No, I should definitely try more street food, but again, you do get very comfortable being able to order stuff.
Yeah.
It just comes to your door.
Yeah.
You sort of like, you don't need the experience because you see it every day, so
Right.
I'm quite happy with someone bringing food to me on a bike.
Yeah. No, it's way more
Yeah.
convenient.
I don't have to cook, I don't have to clean up.
Yeah.
I can't cook. I won't clean up.
Well, in terms of cleaning up, you can get maid service here too, right? And like,
Yeah.
how much is that?
So the amount I pay for I'm not going to show it in this video, but I think if you want to do a tour of this place to show how much it costs.
Yeah.
So I'm paying 11 million per month right now, so
Like $450.
yeah, and then my electricity
$475.
my electricity's not going to be more than $1 million per month.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're paying about $500 a month.
So about $500 a month, and with that comes a maid that will clean up 3 times a week, which
legit.
it seems too much. It sounds stupid, but like this place is never untidy because it's only 2 days before the maid comes in. There's like stuff that you just put on the side and then it's gone because they come when you're at work, and it doesn't have enough. There's no opportunity for the place to get in a total mess because I'm at work most of the time.
Yeah.
I come back, the place is clean. So, I have to do my dishes, but obviously I don't cook. So, just I've got to do laundry, and that's it. And some places you can get, they'll do your laundry for you if you pay them a bit more. Yeah.
Are you comfortable with like leaving your valuables out and stuff? Are they pretty trustworthy people? Or?
I don't want to take all my cash out with me, so I'll have a safe in here, but I'll hide it. I probably don't need to.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You can't trust everyone.
Right.
But yeah, I think I've just kind of got used to the maids coming in, and I know the maids because when I am here and they come in, we speak, like, you talk to them. They're very friendly and stuff.
And they're employed by this apartment complex. They're not random people coming in once to clean your house and stuff. So probably, a little bit more reliable in terms of they don't want to lose their job.
Yeah, I guess so. Rather than them being a freelancer, they're actually
Yeah.
given to you by the manager of the building who you've got good contact with. And we've had like air conditioning checks and stuff like that, and we'll get a message and the manager will tell us that the security of the building are going to come through with them and make sure that there isn't a stranger like in your house, like with their own free will and stuff like that.
Okay, so the landlords here are very communicative and helpful with everything. So how would you compare the cost of living here in Vietnam to the cost of living in somewhere like England?
Well, I suppose I'll start with food. If the food's cheap. If you want to eat the local food, you can save a lot of money. If you want to eat Western food, you'll save a little bit. As for my bike, I rent a bike for $1 million a month, which is like 40.
Motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
Motorbike, yeah.
So like $40.
Yeah, 44. Yeah.
So $44 a month. Fuel, how much do we fill up a tank for now? It's like
It's more expensive now.
150k or something. Now,
Yeah,
so
but at least 100k, yeah. Which is like $4.
And that'll last me a week, I think. Full
Yeah.
tank. It depends what bike you've got. So I'm renting a bike. I'm not putting that much fuel into it per week. Whereas in the UK, I'd have to buy a car. I'd have to insure it. Just things like speed cameras and parking tickets. The things that you just don't even consider when you live in here because it just doesn't happen. Obviously, rent price is going to vary depending on where you live, but I'm not sure you're going to get a maid coming in 3 times a week.
Right.
How much are we paying for these?
This one's $1. I think that. Yeah, they're both about $1.
Yeah. What do we pay for a pint?
Like,
500
okay.
ml.
Like at a bar?
Yeah.
Depends on the bar, but probably like $2.50. $2.50.
So that's a good way to gauge how
Yeah.
expensive or cheap it is to live in a place.
Yeah.
How much does a pint cost?
Yeah, that's the best way.
If you're a drinker,
Yeah.
because everything follows suit. Food's sort of there.
I think that's the first thing I look at when I look at a country to travel.
And it's
to,
not
like,
just the
price of a pint.
yeah, because it's all encompassing. It comes with like
Yeah.
everything else, like how much
It does.
it costs to get taxis. That's probably a huge one. It's definitely a big one.
Taxis here.
Yeah, getting
Oh,
a taxi like, and I can't even tell you the price of them because it's just not some. You don't have to worry about getting a 30-40 minute taxi to go and see your friend in another district and then get it back. It doesn't even factor in the cost of a night because it's
Right.
it'll be under $10 return trip probably anywhere you want to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, motorbike taxi for sure.
Oh
Like,
yeah, and that's again.
Yeah.
That's not even. It's like pocket change.
Yeah. I think a motorbike taxi is going to cost you anywhere from like less than $1 to a maximum of like $5 wherever you wanted to go in Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
Like end to end. And then like a car taxi would be minimum like $3 and then maximum like $15 end to end for a one way.
It's a huge difference. Like if I'm out in Manchester, sometimes a taxi home can be like £30.
Yeah.
And it's okay when you go to the city centre with your friends and there's like 4 or 5 of you splitting the taxi, but when you come back, it's like you're all coming back at separate times. You usually just come back by yourself.
Yeah.
You've got £30 taxi, and that's probably more than the cost of a night out here.
Yeah. In terms of the taxis, they have the apps here. Do you guys have that in
Yeah, we have Uber in the UK. So we used to have Uber here and Grab,
Yeah.
but then Grab actually bought Uber out.
Yep.
So now we've just got Grab, but it's the same kind
Yeah.
of thing, and that's what we used to order our food here as well. So it's Grab food, and then just Grab is for the taxis.
Yeah.
And obviously then you've got no issue with communication because you don't have to speak to the driver in Vietnamese, tell him where you're going. You just put it in the app.
Yep.
You can pay with your card, international card like Visa or MasterCard, or you can give them cash.
Yeah.
And you just don't need any communication from start to finish. And again, what
Yeah.
we're talking like under $5 usually
Yeah.
every trip.
Yeah, pretty much.
And again, if you want to get on the back of a bike, it's probably half of that.
Yep. And then actually they've come out with a couple new ones like Gojek and B, which are like even cheaper than Grab
Yeah.
now. So
And it's good then, the competition's good
Yeah.
now because it's going to mean that everyone has to bring the prices down.
and
'Cause there's-
quality up,
Yeah.
which seems to be kind of going down with Grab, which
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah, definitely.
it's definitely the transport here is really easy in terms of your everyday transport though. So you're riding a motorbike, right? Is it more common to ride motorbikes here than cars?
Yeah, like until I moved back here in April, I didn't know a single foreigner with a car.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine who's living in this apartment now. He's got a car.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
But I don't think I'd enjoy driving a car here just because of
No way.
all the bikes are like ants and they just kind of go around the car. The cars have to be very careful.
Yeah.
And they are very careful. You've got more problems with bumping into another bike than you have with a car, kind of.
For sure.
Yeah, 'cause they're so careful. Like they're almost too slow.
It's almost the opposite of in America or something where it's like the motorcycles have to be careful because the cars are dominating the road, right?
Yeah, because there's so many bikes here.
Yeah.
The car drivers, they probably drove a bike for 4 years before they got a car, so they understand what the roads are like.
Yeah.
And not only that, you've just got 4 or 5 bikes passing you every few seconds, so they can only move at like a snail's pace. So yeah, definitely. And that's another reason why you might get a bike taxi over a car taxi when it's rush hour. You don't
speed.
Yeah, if you need to get somewhere quickly, you're probably best jumping on a bike.
For sure.
But if your time's not against you and maybe the weather's looking bad or it's rainy season, or you just don't want to sit on the back of a bike, you might want to get in a taxi and just pay $5.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting around, and then insurance, which is non-existent here. I think they do have bike and car insurance here, but I don't know anyone who gets that.
You don't need it to be able to be on the road.
I've never heard of anyone getting bike insurance, but I don't know any car owners here. Maybe that guy who has a car might have car insurance. But yeah, that's a mandatory thing in America. Like if you're driving without insurance.
And tax on the vehicle as well.
Yeah. What was it? Tax, like vehicle registration fees, that type of thing, and that doesn't exist here. There's no registration fees.
And just other things like, I mean, you don't have to be a bad driver to get a speeding ticket in the UK. You can just not know the limit of the road.
Yeah.
Parking fines, your tyre can just be outside the line, or you could just come back like 5 minutes later than you should have done.
Yeah. Or forget that there's street sweeping all the time.
Yeah. Or congestion charges now. I think that's happening in Manchester now, but definitely in London. It's been there for a while. And they're just things that you don't have to worry about here.
We've touched on a lot of great things about Vietnam already, but I guess just in general, what do you like about living in Vietnam?
I'd say the people, and I noticed that when I moved to Thailand, just how friendly and welcoming they are. I mean, people like to say, oh, I like the history of the place. I'm not really one of those people. Like I said, I haven't done the museums and stuff yet, just because I'm not here for a short amount of time. I know if I do want to get it done, I do have the time to get it done.
Yeah.
Whether I do or not, that's another question. But for me, it's all about the people, because if you're an extrovert or just a social person, you're someone who likes meeting people, I feel like it's the most important thing about a place. And they are so different. It's not like, oh, they're just a bit friendly. Like these people, you don't have to talk to them. You can just drive past someone and see them smile and maybe wave at you. And just a little interaction like that on your way to work can set your day right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd say my favourite thing about living here is the people. I'd say ease of living, which you could probably gauge from what I've mentioned about the things here, like the maids and being able to order food, and taxis are cheaper. I suppose that doesn't.
Everything's cheaper,
And life is easier when you can afford those things that usually cost more when you're back home. So again, the fact that things are cheaper here makes your life easier.
Yeah.
So you got the people, the ease of just enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
The weather's nice. I'm from the UK. It's fucking cold and shit all the time. So I mean, it's probably a bit too hot for my liking. If it was up to me, I'd probably touch it down like 5 degrees or
Fahrenheit. Yeah. But yeah, we just Celsius. So like Celsius here, the normal day is like in the morning it'll probably start out like 27. By midday it'll get up to like 32, 33, and then at nighttime it'll probably come down to about 30. And then Fahrenheit, that's like morning starting at 80, and then it getting up into the 90s, and then it coming back down to like 90. But it's humid as well, right? There's humidity.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wet heat, which makes you a little sweaty, but you get used to that humidity.
I guess it's you're going to compare where you live to living here, and what you prefer, and whether I like the humidity or whether it's is it too hot for me to live here? It's just I'm going to always compare it to where I'm born, and I just definitely prefer the climate here.
Yeah.
And just the fact that you see the sun most days, unless it's like a really cloudy day, it's just nice to drive to work and see the sun. And you know, I know on days when it's cloudy here, I can just feel myself just like,
Yeah.
and I have to remind myself I'm like that.
Yeah.
Probably 8 months a year in the UK.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to one simple thing, which is the sun isn't going through the clouds,
Yeah.
and the sky just looks miserable.
I've been absolutely spoiled in LA.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's probably not something that you'd touch on if I was asking you what you liked about it. I suppose weather's not really going to
No, weather would be one of the things I would say would be a drawback.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's the weather is not, you know, it's good, and for me it's not like oppressive enough where
Yeah.
it would be something where I'd be like, I can't handle
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
You definitely get used to it, like you adapt.
Also, another thing I like how the locals here, there's a big drinking culture.
Mm.
More